I just heard the door open. I wonder if it's Mkhulu. We're live. Welcome once again to my Makosini.
Yay! Makosini Musings.
Hallelujah. I'm so glad that we're doing this. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
It's nice to spend the time together as well.
Catch up on the affairs, what's been happening with our own energies and what's happening around us. And we would like to keep doing this. And we have decided to do every Monday when possible. As you say, dream and ideals
and practicalities adjust.
So that's where we would like to be. But as long as we've set the intention now to share, to come together, and to have this live and to share with other people.
Yeah, good
And
vibes.
that's what matters.
Yeah, it feels good.
And speaking of that, it brings us to what we were talking about of this time being so interesting and exciting. Because we set the intention to do this. And we've set intentions for a lot of things and tasks that we want to do. But we're also seeing that some tasks don't want to get done right now and some do. And maybe you want to explain a little bit about the flow of what's happening.
Speaking about that. So I was having a conversation with some friends of mine yesterday who are Dakas and Dakinis, actually, in the Tantric streams once again. And we were talking about, actually, you know, the rising of a new... Oh, look, there's Pearl. She's here.
Wow.
She might have... You know, once she pushed the door open with her muzzle, that heavy sliding door. Yeah, I mean, Dao is in my bedroom, so... Pearl is our dog. She's new. She's been here from about the end of December. She's a wonderful, beautiful starlight being who's experienced quite a lot of trauma in her life. So she's still busy integrating into the home. And Dao is our cat. She's got 3 legs and she's amazing. She's full power now, in full balance. And she works with me a lot when I'm doing field work, especially when I'm doing earth work. Working inside with in between the timelines and the timeless space, with the geometries of the earth and of course this body of earth. So yeah, she's in maturity now as a worker, as a healer. And Pearl is still coming in. And she really wants to meet Dao in person, but Dao is not ready, and nor she. So what we were saying, okay, so we were talking about this idea that's been, or this movement that's been brewing to start a new kind of a business, I suppose you could say, although business isn't the word that I like, because busy is inside it, and busy has got too much charge for me, because I'm I'm calling spaciousness, you know, and creativity, and sharing the connection. Yeah, connection. So, but anyway,
building a platform to share.
Yes, a platform to share, which people can connect. We can connect with people through, and people can connect with us through. And so, what my one friend said, he's also called Gabriel. He said, what he does is he first, and so this is answering your question, I think, or it's what rose up for me as an answer, was the first thing he does is sit and feel the field. So it means letting down all of the defenses and just feeling the field of what it is that you want to be dancing with, let's say, meeting and conversing with, feeling it first, honestly, and allowing it to speak to you, not like without any of your projections or judgments or forcefulness, just becoming open and vulnerable to feel it. And then sitting in presence, which means bringing your awareness into yourself and sitting with all of that feeling, that's keeping the feeling open, keeping the field open, and sitting in that and listening to what's rising in you without, again, needing to rush, without needing to force, saying yes to allowing the rising to rise as it does naturally, to open as it does naturally. And sometimes one can sit in that place for quite some time before that yes, it's time now, or that clarity arises. And so really trusting that. It's a deepening in trusting oneself. And then after that, after the rising, then moving into the place of opening up for plan of action. Because in that time of listening, outwardly and inwardly, within, then plans from before can change to meet what is actually currently the reality. Look, there's Pearl again.
How?
Maybe she's going through the side. It's so funny. There's a little cat door here for Dao, because Dao often comes and works in the Makosini, and in this time of integration, Dao has got access to the Makosini in the front garden. And so Gabriel, put her in the lounge and close the kitchen gate. Or the kitchen door. Just close the kitchen door, but lock it. Pearl's got the back garden and most of the house. Dao has got my bedroom and office and Makosini. She really wants to be here.
Go inside. Go inside.
Give her some treats when you get there. Or a treat or two. Yeah, so this is really what came through yesterday, which was really nice to sit with. It really speaks to dropping, you know, if you happen to be feeling the energy of rushing, of that stress around releasing something into the world, sitting with that. And then sitting next to that maybe and feeling the field, dropping into presence, you know, and seeing if that stress is actually really there. Is it really there in the field? Is it really now? Is it really now, or are there other things that are now? What comes up first? You know, what comes up is our prayer, or certainly my prayer whenever I'm working, even with reading the bones, which is a form of divination that we Sangoma work with, where we open up the field of ancestral patterning and how it works together with relating and finances and, you know, emotional stuff, and, you know, all of the different relating as part of nature. Where the field is at right now in a person. So even with throwing of the bones, I always put it in there with the intentions to the order of priority. This is important for me, because otherwise, you know, in the beginning when I started doing this work, then because the world knows that there's a yes, and this is really, I suppose, especially for us light workers, the world, the universe, all of our team knows that we've got a yes to serve. You know, and when we're not disciplined around priorities, to the order of priorities that are for the highest good of all, to the flow of love, that is unconditional, for the children, for the future, you know, rising into freedom, born from equality. When we don't have clarity around all of this, then we can be bombarded by all of our teams. We can also be bombarded by those situations that are calling for our attention. They can all come at the same time So the order of priorities means what is most important, present yourself now. Everybody else, don't worry, your time is coming. We've got plenty of time. There's no rush. So even inside that, we come to intention. And setting your intention like that, it's kind of like, well, it is. It's not kind of, it is. What it does is it sets the field. It sets the field to flow to the order of priorities that are for the highest good of all.
This is important, because there's a lot of people that are wanting to do good and are doing good, but then they get caught up in these good acts, and there's a million good things that you can do, but sometimes those things aren't serving what you need to go through. Sometimes it becomes another distraction for what you really need to do, but you're doing good, so you feel like you're in the right track.
Yeah.
So this, when you say setting that intention, then at least you know also what that when you're doing good, you're doing it for the right reasons and for your own development, or
so like two things came up for me there, and the first one was, what I've observed often will happen is that if you are on a track that is coming from a heart place strongly, and it's not actually to the order of priorities, then it doesn't work. It doesn't bring what you need. Because when, remember, like my mother always used to say, there's always two sides to every coin. So when you are bringing what is highest priority right now, then that will bring you what you need in return, which speaks to happiness, it speaks to comfort, like feeling nurtured, which speaks to finance, it speaks to all of the different things that we need in this physicality that we're experiencing right now. So I'm feeling like, yes, we have got an opportunity to now, and we're being very clearly called by nature, by Mama Nature, to shift, to change what doesn't work anymore, to identify that in not only our own personal but also in societal. We need to do it first here, because then we will be coming with a voice that is truthful and strong enough when it comes to changing societal, to be able to stand true to that voice. So it feels like there's no need to push hard. Like in fact that it's quite important to really allow the feeling state. So drop the mind to connect with the heart. Constantly drop the mind to connect with the heart, to connect with the hara, with the creative center, allowing the waters of creativity that sit in the hara to rise up and meet with the mind, that sharp focus point in the heart, and feel in this place, breathe with this, breathe with it. This meditation, I'm loving this thing that we're doing. It's micro meditations at the moment. I'm in this, I told you guys last time, I'm in this.
Here's a nice practice people can do.
Yeah, micro meditation. So it's literally like meditating for 2.5 minutes at a time.
Yes.
Whenever you think of it, it's like set a timer. I actually set a timer because I don't know how long 2.5 minutes is when and I don't want to be thinking or counting, so the thing to do is to move away from thoughts and just be in being state, which for me is like, my experience of it is, it's a feeling state, and it's inside with my senses. So I'm inside with my breathing, I'm inside with what I'm hearing. I've been doing it sometimes when I've been with my eyes open. I even micro-meditate sometimes when I'm driving my car or walking the dog. It's just like, switching off the thoughts. If they do arise, then just letting them move through, just paying no attention to them, just letting them move through. These are like information streams that are important, but they're not necessary to get involved with, especially if you're busy micro-meditating or meditating, full stop. Yeah, this is a very, very beautiful tool to work with, and it's pretty easy to do it for 2.5 minutes. So that's lovely.
And that's also another tool that helps to ingrain that idea that you were talking about in the beginning of opening up to the field. That helps. Yeah.
Big time.
So it's a practice to get to that place.
Yeah, big time. And also to discharge, to allow even just tiny time spaces. The wise ones say start small, rather than trying to start with everything. Start small, and build up the ability with small, and then it will naturally grow. It naturally grows. Even the seed, it's small. It can grow into a giant tree, but we can't force it to do that. It's a gentle nurturing process, a daily practice.
And that is what we need in this time. I think also a lot of people are looking to start something new, maybe a spiritual practice or some kind of habit that they're wanting to form now that there's no work, now that there's different things happening in the day. And I think this is a nice way to start, like you're saying, small and graceful. Like we also wrote down a big list, like we said, of what we wanted to do, and just the most important things are coming up. Us just getting on to talk is something so small. It feels small, but it's afterwards it feels really big. It's something we did, like we took a big step.
It feels so nice inside me. Yeah. Feels good.
And I think that's what we should be looking to achieve. Because I know I've been coming from a whirlwind of action and getting things done. And it's,
being chased, actually.
And it was a good feeling, to keep in that momentum and get things moving, get the ball rolling, and you can actually feel yourself moving this big ball as you're going down. And I mean, I kind of got a little bit addicted to that feeling because it's like the first time in my life where I'm actually moving and I'm using my will to create and to go and to move forward and take action. And I wanted to keep that. But then it was just a time, all of this happening and coming home again. Home is a place where you can recuperate and come back to yourself. And in the beginning, I fought that, and I felt very bad in my body. I felt very heavy for fighting that, what I should have done, which is take some time, take a breather, refocus, reshift. And so now I'm getting into that now.
Hallelujah.
Been good.
Yeah, it's kind of like detoxing, although what we're talking about is not toxin. It's just an energy that is no longer serving, or a frequency that is no longer serving this body being. Even like detoxing, that which, like when you do a physical detox, then oftentimes the first few days there's headaches and maybe there's a runny stomach, and one can feel absolutely awful, while all of that stuff that no longer serves is leaving and the body's letting go. So it's the same now for us. I'm feeling like we're detoxing as a society in a way, and I want to invite this because I know that there are a lot of people who are struggling to let go, and a big part of this is about money and security, feeling secure, that's security that money brings, to have what you need. I feel like that's a big part of the struggle, to let go into trust, and to let go into what is here now, and to let go into community as well. Even though we're not supposed to come too close to one another physically, the community is still there, and let go of all of those things. It is also a detox process, and I feel like it's important to recognize that, like you've just recognized looking back. You've recognized that you had this experience of difficulty, challenge, in letting go of the time that you've just been through, and moving into the time that you're in now, which is not worse or better. It's just a different time. So that's worth acknowledging. And then another one that I feel is, well, that we're working with in many ways, it's similar to detoxing, I suppose, is cleaning out. We haven't properly started yet in my home because we're taking small steps. I'm not trying to freak myself out with a heavy list, and I've actually been asking personally for a time when that pressure gets liberated. For some time now I've been moving towards it and doing inner work in order to create that kind of time, or be able to be in that field of spaciousness and not feel stressed out. Because being in a spacious field, when you're used to having a constant to do and constant action is it can feel very stressful. I'm still also getting used to it. I mean, I've got a busy day today. But even sitting here doing this, it feels spacious, and the way of approaching the different things in the day is shifting into more spaciousness. So I'm very grateful about that. But what I'm coming to is decluttering as well, even on a physical. So while we're home, if we enter into full lockdown, or if you already are in quarantine type vibes, it's a really great time to declutter. A little bit at a time, it's a let's not take our kind of busyness, stress that we are used to operating under in the normal world, in the business world, in the school reality, in the showing up, meeting those expectations that society puts on us as adults, as parents, even as children, to meet the deadlines. Let's not do that. Let's not fall into that. Let's not play that game anymore. Let's stop playing that game and just do a bit at a time. Do as much as we can, and put on some music and have fun with it. Be playful with it as well. Let's declutter our lives and remember to recycle. and maybe even turn some of it into artwork. There might even be who knows what's going to happen. Maybe we're all going to be trading art.
And it'd be a good time to do good work, giving to someone that doesn't have, and that's also a part of community, getting that community vibes going in these times. There's actually so much potential for opening up communication lines within the greater field of our human family, of our nature family, that we haven't really had time to stop and feel into and open. There hasn't been full permission for that, even from inside our societal field, our minds, our ancestral fields even. And then, is there anything you want to say to that before? No, so you're saying
then
the next thing. It's good to give yourself permission to tune into the field, to take a breather and to see what arises. That's a good idea. To see what arises. Slowing down can change the world, I mean, So then the other thing that, in my experience, that I've been working with is also, it's another form of detox. We're talking lots about detox. I think you're going to have to share about your course just now as well. Many people are releasing online courses and things like this now.
And even in that, it's again, it's sitting into when is the right time, how does this, what actually feels right, you know, rather than coming from the place of fear that says, I need to earn money, shit, I'm running out.
Oh, this is a good time to capitalize, let's get it out there quick.
It's let no stone be unturned in this quest for freedom, in this opening for freedom that lives within that place that is peaceful and joyful and free, that's not limited by other people's or any projections, not even our own. It must be a playful and joyful space, that one, and peaceful. So what I was coming to is also, I'm going to call it updating the timelines inside with the ancestral field. So I've been working quite a lot with other people and speaking to my own team as well in the ways that I'm able to on my own to do just that, to retune the field. And I mean, I'm personally working with tuning forks, but that's a very new modality. I'm not a practitioner yet. I'm not a recognized practitioner. I haven't been through that gate, so I'm practicing, and not quite at the place of integrating the forks fully into my own practice. And the other thing that I'm working with personally is with sound. So a lot of, sound, voice, prayer, directing the field, redirecting, rearranging the geometries, and I feel like this is all really important work to do. Because up until now, last time we were speaking about the hierarchy has fallen. And what's left over of hierarchical energies is actually habitual. It's habits, loop patterns that are running, held in place by fear. The geometries themselves have actually shifted. The potentiality has shifted. The earth and the greater field is ready to experience equality now, to create societal structures that recognize equality. We are actually ready. Our consciousness, the group consciousness, is ready. It's up to us to do it or not to do it, to let go of the things that hold us back from within, that stop us from feeling like we are equal to everything and a part of nature, part of it. We're part of it all. So these works, and I know that there's lots of people on the planet who are working in service, as servers, who are able to assist, to update the field, to comb out those frequencies, those old habits, those, what I'm going to say, dissonant patterns that stand in the way of us being able to really feel safe as equals, to feel safe, to feel good enough, to feel cherished, to feel loved enough, to feel the love that is there, to allow the divinity that lives within all things and is in itself equal, to be actually what we are, to be part of that. And so, I feel like it's important to include ancestors in this as well, the DNA, ancestral frequencies, and there's many different ways of doing it. One can work with the mind, with therapy type things, to help shift patterning. One can work with sound. I most like working with sound because I don't like to activate the mind unless the team or the field tells me to activate the mind, because the mind is most often not mastered by the human. I think most of us, myself included, I haven't yet mastered my mind. We're in a training program, but haven't yet fully mastered it. It's a tricky one, the mind. Yeah. So I like working with sound and showing up with whatever rises in the moment and meeting it and speaking to it, and working very multidimensionally outside of only this now moment, because everything that we've experienced before this now moment is informing this now moment. So it's necessary to step outside of this now moment to update the timelines to this now moment. Yeah. And we have got the power of choice in our voices. We have got the freedom of choice in our voices also. So, yeah, that's the technology that I work with. So also getting help. You know, I'm getting help myself as well, because it's much easier to do this kind of work with somebody else supporting than who's able to do that, than doing it with yourself. It's nice to get the support. And it's also nice to have those communications open, and, you know, everybody is valuable. Every single human being is a part of the picture that would not be as beautiful as it is if it wasn't. They weren't there if we weren't here. Yeah. To us. Yeah.
And the technology I work with is very similar, but on the physical level. And it was through working through the physical body that I was able to attain a place of spiritual growth. So I always come back to the physical, because you can work with the energy in the field to help what's happening in your body, what's happening physically. But at the same time, we can also work on our physical body to help the energy realign too. My own experiences of cleaning and detoxing and eating healthy. And we're talking about all of these things. We're talking about the fact of detoxing, of letting go, of decluttering, and rewiring. But it only, that rewiring can only occur, rebuilding can only occur once we've taken away what's blocking, because what's there,
I'm going to say it's much easier.
It's much easier.
Much easier.
Much easier. Yeah. But like, if it's there, then you can't put anything else. So yeah. So it's nice to do a physical cleanse, because on a spiritual level, what it's doing is it's taking away some of the blockages that are causing habitual patterning. The way that your blood flows is the way that your energy will flow. And if the blood is blocked in a certain way, then it's flowing in a certain pattern, then your energy is flowing in that pattern. And that is the pattern that you are working with. And most of the time it is blockages, because it's creating a pattern because it can't get to where it needs to go. So releasing that physically and starting to put in vibrant foods that are high in energy. When we're empty, obviously, then those vibrant energies go into our cells, and then our cells vibrate at that frequency, and then we vibrate at that radiance and that health, and through that is new healthier habits that we're forming, and a better happiness, because we look good, our body's looking good, we feel good. And they say, you look good, you feel good, and you do good too.
Good vibes. And then from that place, it's much easier to update the frequencies for them to stick to. Because also, I mean, I've done a detox course with you last year. And it was fantastic. And it has also, part of the effect is really in accessing the yes about the choice, about the discipline, about the practice, for those 2 weeks to follow, to stay with it. And it's not necessarily easy or comfortable, because all of the time, because it's totally different to, I can't have my normal things that I like to have. It makes me feel nourished and nurtured and all of this stuff. But at the same time, the energy levels and the feelings of lightness that my body had access to through that was worth it. So it's like this, entering into areas that are not necessarily comfortable. Even inside our emotional feelings, entering into those areas that are not exactly comfortable, and maybe instead of hiding it away from ourselves and from others, bringing it to the table, and like without judging ourselves, being gentle, taking small bites, and bringing it to the table and saying, look, this is actually how I'm feeling. So this is detoxing, lightening up, and I'm not projecting. This is we spoke about speaking in I last time, and I'm feeling words, feeling sentences, very, very helpful to when, if you're cooped up with a whole bunch of, or folk that are pushing your buttons, it's really like, okay, how do we stop a trauma vortex from opening up here? And it really is by owning my own things, by being gentle with that, and by speaking from the I place, not projecting, by bringing my feelings, not from the mind but from the heart.
And that's why I really enjoy the structure that it was created with the cleanse to do a group gathering, so that we're all on that level. Now, I mean, because now in this world we are really all on this level of needing to go inside and declutter and remove and let go. And that's already helped us as a collective actually start to engage with one another. I feel there's a big movement of that, and there's more love being presented and more of an effort to connect to your friend, even if it's on the phone. And so the same thing with the cleanse. When you're part of a group, you also feel like, okay, you're not the only one that's saying, I can't have ice cream right now. And also there's someone else that's also going through that, and there's a platform to express, and through that we can help each other, because the same way that we're learning to help each other with just reconnecting with others, the same can happen with the cleanse and the things we're doing. Getting back to family.
Togo is getting back to family and the home place. The home place where everyone is welcome.
And our physical body is our home. That's also another aspect of looking from the physical, is people don't want to come home, or they're not wanting to go inside because actually it's uncomfortable inside. It's our church, but we've dirtied it, and it's our home, but we've dirtied it, and sometimes we don't want to go into that place. So it's also just rewiring, saying, oh, actually, this is self-care, this is self-love. I'm going to clean out my house, make it look nice so I can go inside. And this is sacred. This body is sacred, this place is sacred. So again, what's coming up for me so much as well is really working with forgiving as a technology, as a tool. That sounds really hard and masculine, but I'm saying it like that because of its power, that forgiving, and also gratitude and forgiving, these two actions, which begin with intention and can't be forced. Actually, they can't be forced, and they can't really be faked, but they can be practiced, and they can be intended. And I feel like the easiest way to allow the arising of especially forgiving, also gratitude for things that are incredibly uncomfortable, that have really hurt us,
really arrive from the place of going into the feeling of those things and owning them fully, owning our part, and then having a look and seeing actually where are the good places that have opened in my life because of this. Where are the good places? And from that place, the gratitude and the forgiving can arise, but not from, these aren't mental things. These are feeling things. So really learning to feel, remembering how to feel, that it's okay to feel, that actually feeling is one of our greatest gifts in our bodies. So also we are in a time now where we've really got an opportunity to deepen our study into, for those of us, I don't know if it's part of your study, I know it's part of my study, what is it to be in a human body? What is it? How does this technology work? How can I best be human in a woman's body? How can I achieve joy and that is real and deep, and love? How can I know love within all of the reality without leaving any part out in this human body? How does this vehicle work? So it's really, and feeling is a very big part of it. Being able to feel. Oftentimes trauma experiences block off feeling, literally, physically in the brain. The brain shuts down and makes it unsafe to go there. And then whenever some trigger happens that would make our energy bodies or our thought processes go into that same realm of the brain where that trauma experience is being stored and protected, so that it's like a fight or flight mode, then we go into stopping feeling, we go into avoiding, we dissociate. So really working with these things as well, consciously, and becoming aware that actually this is how our bodies are wired. This is how our bodies work. We're like, it's upgrade time. We and it's quite important. We are being invited to upgrade.
To go to the boss level.
Yeah,
we've made it to the boss level.
We're standing at the door, I think.
Yes.
We're little babies standing at the door. So now let's grow up. Start taking responsibility, and because we can respond. And in the areas where we don't have the skills, let's grow those skills. And it is definite that everybody and everything that we need in order to grow up into what Gabriel's calling boss level. And let's just look at that word boss. Unpack that a bit for us here, Gabriel. What do you mean when you say that?
Well, what I know is that when you're getting to the boss level, it's the final frontier. It's the time where you've done all of these mini jobs. So us as a collective, we've done all of these mini things to get to this point that we wanted to do, which is change the way that we are being forced to do things or whatever it may be. So, and also individually, we've been doing that in our own lives. And now we're all coming to this place where it's time now. This is what we need to do, is to go inside, take some responsibility and upgrade. And remember all of the things that we did to get here. We're using all of the tools that we picked up on that journey to fight the boss, to overcome the boss, and to get to the next stage of the game. And the game being this reality that we live in.
To chop off the head of the parrot guru.
Yes.
So it's also feels to me like what you're referring to, or what came up for me when you said that, is we've come to a place where the earth, we as a collective, as a humanity, in this cycle of life on earth, because we're starting to realize that, or even science is starting to realize that there have been a number of cycles, and in the old myths, in the old cultures that have been keeping records, it appears that we're in the 4th or 5th cycle of this human experiment, we can say. But it seems like we've come to a place where we as a collective and as individuals, and which, remember, includes all of our ancestors that put into this body, made it what it is, have experienced, and it must also speak to all of the earth and all of the kingdoms and queendoms of nature, including even the stones. We have experienced all of the traumas that we need to, in order to overcome them, in order to step into the place where we are free. So we've done all those things. How's that for a thought? This is also where the forgiving and giving thanks comes in as really, really strong technologies to work with at this time, recognizing that we've been working hard, most of the time unconscious, and the vast majority of the collective still is unconscious around, and even those of us who are pretty darn conscious are not 100% conscious of everything yet. They're everything that we are doing in every moment, every thing that we have experienced since our lifetime. So one of the things that I've been doing personally is I've been working with the support of a few others who are really good at this, experted, to dive into my early childhood traumas and, primal, very early, to open up those memories and open up and liberate that consciousness in my body being, so that I can be fully present here without not feeling stuff. Without not feeling stuff. And the work, I'm not finished it yet, but I can also, this is work that I can highly recommend doing, because, it's great to actually be able to be here fully. So, in saying this, we've experienced all the traumas that we need. Why does trauma happen? Because we need to grow from it. There's something to grow there with. So rather than hiding away from our traumas, let's look at them and meet them and work with them. Let's work with technologies. That's what I was going to say earlier. What it seems to me is that it must be that every person and every skill, every modality, and every bit of medicine, we can say, that we each need in order to upgrade into fully conscious form, with the power of voice and choice freely available to us as individuals and as a collective, is here now. We've remembered enough. As a collective, we've remembered enough to be able to meet what is rising here. So we can trust. There again, coming to the intention, to step out on the path, to step in on the path, and trust and call for the universe, that beautiful great goddess, to bring to us what we need, and those people and those whatever it is. We don't even know what it is. And then just keep the awareness open. And something comes, feel it. What is it? How does this feel in me right now? If it feels good, say yes. How does it really feel? And check in with the inner child as well, with your inner child. Because your inner child is like such a beautiful, sensitive dial. Like if your inner child isn't happy about something, then I wouldn't just go for it, Like, it might be too much. You might not be quite ready. So maybe it's important to do some more work with the child in that regard, but not to dive into fully taking it on.
Sure.
Yeah. But everything's available. We've got everything we need here now. We're ready.
Hallelujah!
Hey!
Wow.
Is it nearly end time? How are we doing with time? Did you
Yeah.
look at the time?
Yeah, we can start wrapping up.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, we flew through everything.
Yeah.
And it was wonderful. Yeah, we navigated very well.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah. So Gabriel you're doing a detox course. I don't know if you've got a date yet.
Yes, the 22nd of April.
Okay, and me, I'm starting 23rd of April.
Ah!
Yeah, with
see.
the Ish Cacao embodiment
Hallelujah.
training. So Gabriel will be doing, and maybe I'm going to join your course.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do that. Although you must find a way that I don't lose too much weight.
Yeah. No,
Because
I know of a way.
yeah, okay. And then because I don't have so much as it is, we have to build our immune systems with everything that we do. We're building our immune systems. So that's also important to choose pathways that will build your immune system rather than put it under threat in any way. Yeah. And then I'm going to be doing the 3-month walking along, holding the hand of Ish Cacao, of cacao, and working with cacao, raw chocolate, as a support, as a carrier, like Gabriel likes to call it, a carrier vehicle, to help the heart to remain open and start to really explore through training and practices how to become part of nature, to find your own voice, to find your true voice, the foundation is very much a personal practice, and of course it can enter into also ceremony. So this is really bringing forward teachings from, we can say, shamanic realms, shamanic, sangoma, all of this stuff, and also the tantric realms, inside with what it is to be human, inside with what it is to be human, part of nature, inside with what it is to be human and part of nature, with your heart open and listening, and the joy frequencies, the child happy. So this is the path that we're going to be walking for 3 months, and these are all online things, we know. So it feels good. That's great. That's a wonderful confirmation that we're both starting to walk on that same time. That's lovely.
That's good. Yeah. And just to clarify about the cleanse a little bit, it's a 2-week process, and we're going to be in a group, and it's grace and ease. Ish Cacao, I did the course last year, 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
2 years ago, I did the cacao training course, and Ish Cacao was the one that taught me how to detox, because I always was in that place of wanting to detox and work with nutrition, and she was the one that taught me how to do it with grace and ease. And it's been a long journey of soldier training and extreme fasting and different things that
self-flagellation, and then putting down that whip, man.
Yes.
Okay, I see you. Jeez, I didn't know you were there. Your time is done.
Yes.
Thank you for teaching me.
Done.
I forgive myself. I love myself.
There we go.
Toast.
The lessons we learn from Ish Cacao. And so I've now implemented it into the detox, and we're gradually decreasing what we eat. And each day we are in contemplation of removing, of just saying no to one less thing each day, so that it's not we're not taking away anything right away, and that's the whole point. Yeah.
Wonderful. Yay, I'm excited.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much.
On Instagram.
Yeah.
And everywhere else that you're listening to this.
Togos. So we will be here again on Monday next week. We might not be sitting next to each other in this way because we might be in different houses. But I'm looking forward to talking more about this process that we're in, which to me really feels like redesigning the education system. Upgrading the education system of society, changing the education system to something that really works. And by education system, this is a very broad speaking word, big
Next
umbrella.
topic.
Well, this is all that.
Yes.
It really is, because it starts with ourselves. What classroom am I going to live in today?
Yes.
You know, like, this is the education system. It's information. Are we working with love, light, power information for peace? Are we working with love, light, power information in order to control others? Because that also can be done. Or are we working with some other form of light that is not love? Remember, there's love that's unconditional and there's love that is conditional, which is what we used to be working with. That would be love, light, power, which is strong to control even ourselves. So we want to be gentle. I don't want to control myself. I want to live authentically as who I am. So I want to work with love, light, power for peace. Yeah. And then I love, a friend of mine broke down the word peace. It says peaceful earth and clean environment.
Hey.
Richard Kroc. He did that. And this body is also earth. So we start here. Taurus. Yeah.
Hallelujah.
Taurus and Dawe.